Hey guys, and welcome to the start of a brand new video. So, today we're doing a speed build of Hogwarts. I had so much fun with this build. It took me a really long time. It was a huge, massive build. I probably won't do anything quite this big in the future, but it was a ton of fun. I'm a huge fan of the Harry Potter series, and I hope you guys enjoy it. Um, I wanted to talk about a bunch of fun facts that I looked up. Just Googled fun facts on Harry Potter. I mean, I know a lot of the facts myself, but, it's always good to get the facts. And, sometimes you forget things. It's been a while since I've seen the Harry Potter movies. It's probably been like 4 years around there. And 4 years is a while, you forget things. So yeah, I'm gonna share with you guys some fun facts. We're gonna hang out, we're gonna watch this build, and yeah. So, fun fact number one. Did you know that Harry's parents, James and Lily, are soulmates because the Patronus charm to ward off Dementors is a physical representation of one's soul? James's Patronus charm was a stag, same as Harry. Um, and his mom, Lily, her Patronus charm was a doe. So it said that they were soulmates because the doe and the stag fit perfectly together. Also, fun fact, Snape's Patronus charm was also a doe. So because his was the same as Lily's, they're saying that it wasn't, um, their love wasn't perfect, so they didn't end up together. But uh, there's also like a little bit of rumor going on though, so this is a bit confusing. Some places say that like Snape's Patronus charm changed to a doe after Lily died because of his love for her, but other places say that his Patronus charm was always a doe and that he was trying to hide it because he was a Death Eater and most Death Eaters can't create a Patronus charm because you're supposed to have some sort of purity in your heart. Um, and I don't know which one I believe. I think I'm siding more on the idea that his Patronus charm was always a doe. And I think I think it's more indicative that way of like deeper meaning. If like it was always a doe and it matched hers perfectly, but because they were too similar, they couldn't be together. I don't know. It seems a little like wishy-washy, but I could see it going either way. Fun fact number two. Rowling has said that if Voldemort saw a boggart, it would embody his own corpse, since death was always his greatest fear. And you can see examples of this throughout the series, like him drinking unicorn blood to stay alive when he's been like beaten so badly by Harry's love when Harry was a baby, and all sorts of fun stuff like that. Fun stuff. Death. And throughout the series, it's about his like rise and his growth from that weird face thing that's on the back of Professor Quirrell to like the full form at the end when he transforms from like Harry's blood and like creepy Wormtail is like putting all that stuff in that pot and then he dumps in that weird little decayed form of ugh in Goblet of Fire. Ugh, it's pretty creepy. Um, but fun fact number three, Dumbledore in Old English it means bumblebee. And I think that one's pretty cool. Rowling said she chose the name because she pictured Dumbledore humming to himself. That I could see that. He seems like somebody who would hum. Yeah, no contention there. Uh, Rowling has said that the most reneged on her promise. She almost reneged on her promise to herself to keep the Golden Trio alive and killed Ron halfway through the series when she wasn't in a very happy place in her life. She now believes that she wouldn't really have been able to go through with it, but at the time she considered it out of sheer spite. Why didn't she like Ron? Like, why'd she have it out for Ron, you know? Like, why was she so, ooh, kill Ron, ooh. Ron's such a nice guy. I mean, I guess he gets kind of, like, grumpy. Maybe that has something to do with how like depressed she was, but I mean, he gets pretty grumpy and hates on Harry for a little while. Grumpy and annoying. But I like Ron. Ron's one of the best characters. Anyway, back to the build. So I'm during this whole build, I'm going off of like a floor plan that I found on Pinterest that covers like all of the different floors of Harry Potter, but it's kind of difficult in The Sims 4 because it is only, you can only build up 4 floors. So, and there's 7 floors of the Harry Potter castle, not including the 2 basement levels. So, I mean, you can only build 4 floors, so unless you want to build down 2 levels into the basement, you're not going to be able to build the whole castle. And even then, like, even if you build 2 levels into the basement, I don't think you can go below 2 levels. And then you can't build a basement section either. And then you're only getting 6 floors. So I had to kind of figure out, there's no way to build the Harry Potter castle perfectly in The Sims 4. You can get pretty close, but you can't make it perfect. Plus, this lot size, I'm doing it all in Realm of Magic, on the Realm of Magic lot size, and it's only like 50 by 40. And I think most of the people who actually like go for true Hogwarts in The Sims 4 build on 64 by 64, which is the biggest lot size you can make, and even they are like pretty stretched for space. And so this was a bit of a tight build. I had to shave off the northern towers. Like I couldn't include some of the second part. We're working on the second building now. You'll see that like part of it's sort of cut off. I made it look as seamless and natural as I could, of course, because like, you know, just because we couldn't fit it didn't mean it couldn't look like it should be there. Like it shouldn't have like halfway cut off rooms or anything. So I tried my best to try and scale things down as best I could. And there are a lot of, it's almost like a tiny house build actually, because a lot of the rooms are like 2 by 2, 3 by 3, 4 by 4, or like 2 by 6. There's a lot of the rooms are really small and won't be able to fit much in them, which is kind of sad, but that's the way the cookie crumbles. Yeah, I don't know. There wasn't much I could do with how small the lot was. So small lot size. We had to cut off some of the northern towers. Obviously, we couldn't fit the Quidditch pitch in there, or Hagrid's hut, which I'm kind of sad about. Like, I wish they had bigger lot sizes. Maybe I'll do this again, actually, in Paralives, after Paralives comes out, because you can, like, have as big of a lot size as you want in Paralives. I don't know what kind of, like wallpapers they'll have or any of that, but I'm really excited for Paralives, and I will be happy to see how it turns out. They definitely have the building mechanics for it, and the fact that you can like set the lot sizes would make it like super cool. If you guys haven't checked out Paralives at all yet, there's a number of YouTubers doing like videos on it on YouTube, and I think you can go and support it on Patreon. It's really cool. Like the building mechanics are amazing, and I'm definitely going to get it just to do builds in it. Like it's so good. Um, yeah, but Paralives, yeah, I think it would probably work. I guess it depends on what sort of like roofing it has, and I'm sure you can build like circular rooms in Paralives too, so your towers don't have to be like weird octagons like how they are in The Sims. Octagons? Hexagons? Is that what it is? 6 sides? 8 sides. It is octagons. I was right. Anyway, yeah, so right now we're just sort of getting the base. We start with the first floor and then we move up, and I'm just trying to get like the rooms right and trying to figure out like where everything is um, from the floor plans, because I'm not looking at like the outside of the building just yet. I'm just trying to figure out like how big the rooms should be and where everything is, in relation and stuff. I really wish you could build to higher build heights because the tower is supposed to be like the main tower. It kind of blends into the build right now. It's supposed to be like the biggest, it's supposed to be like a focal point, like the biggest tower in all of Hogwarts. It's supposed to like span up all the way, but I think it comes to the same height as some of the other parts of the build, which is kind of sad, you know? Like I just want to be able to do it perfectly. And you can get really close. Like I've seen some really amazing Hogwarts builds on The Sims, and this isn't nearly as perfect as like I some other people have gone into crazy detail with this, and this is only part one too. We'll be filming the furnishing part of this later, not at this point in time, but it'll be part two. Part two will come out maybe next week. Yeah, probably next week. I'll probably try and get it done by then. But we'll film the furnishing of it all, and then I still need to add in the basement section. So you'll see me eventually like raise up the build because I wanted it to be on a cliff. And so that's why I didn't build it down to the basement because you can't raise up basements after you've made them. Um, for obvious reasons, 'cause it wouldn't make any sense. But I wanted it to be on a cliff to kind of give you that like really like this is like a tall castle on a cliff sort of vibe that as you look into the pictures like it's like this giant cliff surrounded by a lake and it's beautiful and I really wanted to give that vibe. So I raise it up near the end and then I'm desperately trying to figure out how to put in you'll see I skipped past it. I didn't leave it in the video, but there was this like I started doing the basement and then I realized that I hadn't raised up the build yet. And I tried raising up the build and it said that I couldn't raise it up because of um, there was like some sort of weird error that popped up that involved a like it said that two wall heights were not the same and that you couldn't raise up two different wall heights and it took me so long to figure out what it was for, like why I was getting this error. It took me so long. Oh my gosh. I spent most of the night figuring that out and by the end I was just like so exhausted. But eventually I figured it out. It's because I added on another tower like in front of the tower that I'd made, like in front of the entrance to the Great Hall. I'd added a tower in front so that it looked more like it did in the photo, but then it was at like a different height. So after I deleted that, I figured out I could raise it up. But man, it was a process. I generally consider myself pretty proficient in the Sims 4 building, and here I'm trying to figure out like the clock towers and whether or not I should include those. And I mean, there's no way I could have fit stairs to go up the clock towers, and they were too smashed close to where the clock tower on the second building is. So I was like, just delete it all. Normally they would have been like extended out further, but they would have been like farther back along like a lot closer to the northern towers that I had to cut out too. So I was like, scrap it. Uh, Again, wish I had more space. Would have done a better job, but I think it turns out pretty well. Pretty decent. And it definitely looks quite more magical than the HQ on Realm of Magic did beforehand. That was such an awful building. It was so boring. There was so much space in it. Like, I cannot. Why do they do this, you know? Like, why don't the Sims 4 people, like, do like a little bit of research into what magical things look like. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love all of the like the furniture they created. It looks super good and it feels pretty magical. But like their builds don't look magical at all. Like none of their builds even tried. Here I'm trying to figure out the roof. The roof was a bit of a pain, and I struggled with it at first, but I think I did a decent job roofing. I feel okay about it. But we're just trying to get in some structural details here too. Um, oh man, The Sims 4 people for their builds are just, they really struggle. They should really just like contract out like YouTubers that are builders because there's some really, really talented people out there. And if they got them to do the builds, can you imagine how happy people would be? I mean, I guess it would kind of like diminish from um, all of the people who redo all of the Sim Guru builds. I guess they would kind of lose out on content then. Maybe that's the reason why they don't do it, honestly. Maybe they're like, but all of the sim gurus then wouldn't have something to redo. Like every time we made a new pack, like they wouldn't have all these builds to renovate. They'd have less content to make. Maybe that's why. Maybe that's the long con. Like all of the Sims builders on YouTube don't actually. That's, oh, somebody should send that to all the conspiracy theorists because that would be hot topic, man. Oh dear. Yeah, we're just figuring out the roofing. It took me quite a long time to figure it out, but we're getting there. We're getting there. You can kind of see like the general direction I went and how much of that second building is cut off. Man, I wish I just had a little bit more space to work on that. It's so sad. Oh, but anyway, let's move on and like keep talking about some facts while I work on this roofing. Fun facts. Fun facts. Uh, so if Muggles, what? If Muggles stumbled across Hogwarts, it would look like a dilapidated building with a "Keep Out Dangerous" sign on it. That, I mean, it makes sense. Like, why, if, I cannot speak, if Muggles were to, I don't really know how they do this, considering they have to take a giant, like a train that nobody could take all the way to Hogwarts, which is like in the middle of nowhere. But if they were to stumble on it, I mean, it would make sense that they'd want some sort of protection so that normies, when the normies walk in, they're not like, oh, a giant castle, let's go check it out. I mean, it makes sense. They're wizards. They can do magic. It's fine. And here I'm just like replacing all of those fences with half walls because I think it looks better and adding in a bunch of arches. And then I decide that I don't want to do one by one arches, which now that I'm looking at it, I kind of like more than what I ended up doing. And I don't think it ends up matching up with the one by one, or the like the halfway spread across. So I end up like doing like a weird pattern with it. But you know what? I kind of like the way it was looking before now. So maybe I'll change it back. I don't know. I haven't posted this to the gallery yet, but I will after it's been furnished. Um, which will be done in part 2. So by the time I release the second video, this should be up in the gallery for you guys to download if you would like. Um, yeah, I end up changing all of those around quite a bit actually later because I end up not liking that as much, and then I switch it to 3 to 1 to 3 instead of 2 to 2 or 1 to 1 like it was before. And here I'm just trying out a bunch of different um, wallpapers. I think I end up choosing one from the bowling pack, actually, oddly enough, which is kind of weird. But I thought it looked the best. I don't know. I kind of liked it. I quite liked it, especially like once you change the roofs to black. Like it looks really nice with the black. Very aesthetically pleasing. Plus, like the rock is all like sort of mangled about, and I feel like it looks more like old castle-y. Like old castles aren't built from like perfectly hewn stone. It's like sort of like mangled stone cobbled together. Cobbled stone. And in Hogwarts' case, it kind of looks like it's made from like light colored sandstone that's been cobbled together. Because like the stone is actually quite light. Like the movies make it look dark, but in the daylight, it looks pretty light with like dark roofs and stuff. So I ended up going with that. And here we're just trying to figure out what we want, like, the outer walk area and, like, courtyard to look like. And we go through quite a different options, obviously. But I think I end up settling on one from Vampires pack, which, you know, it makes sense. It's more medieval than a lot of the other packs. And I don't think I ended up using anything from Realm of Magic, just because, like, the floors that they gave us were kind of weird. I mean, they were very magical, don't get me wrong, but they were a bit weird. Quite a bit weird. Um, anyway, uh, Rowling has admitted that she regrets the relationship between Ron and Hermione. That's kind of sad. I liked Ron and Hermione's relationship more than I liked Harry and Ginny's relationship. I kind of, like, can you imagine, like, if your best friend was like, I'm gonna date your little sister? How weird would that be? That would be so weird. Like, like, wouldn't that just make you feel kind of uncomfortable? Like, they don't say that Ron has an issue with it, like in the book, or allude that Ron has any issue with it. Here I'm just messing with the arches again. That's pretty classic. But, like, seriously though, like, imagine that one of your best friends is like, I'm gonna date your little sister. I think your little sister's cute. I'm gonna date her, and I'm gonna marry her. Like, it's a little weird. I don't want to be a love shamer, but a little weird. Here I'm just like adding it. So there are these like little sort of, I don't really know what the architectural term for this is, but it's like they're kind of like dormers, except dormers go on roofs, so not really dormer. They're like sort of like column things. And I'm trying to make it look. I think later on I end up adding in more of them and pushing those together, and it makes it look a little bit better. But there's quite a bit of architecture on the side, and it's kind of hard to add in. Here I add in a gold clock to sort of match the gold tips of the little towers that I just sort of made on the side there, but later on I end up changing it because I decide that I don't really like it that much. So that's gonna change. Ooh, and I think it's almost here where I end up like adding, yeah, that's the tower that screwed me over. Absolutely the tower that screwed me over. It's because it's on a roof piece, not on like the side of a building, and so it's like further down than um, on the building. And it's oh, that piece messed me up, man. I spent hours, maybe not like hours, but probably a full hour trying to figure out what was screwing with me, why I couldn't raise up the build because it had worked previously. I actually, before this, I had filmed me making Hogwarts before, but I'd only gone off of the way the castle looked on the outside, not what the floor plan was on the inside. So it wasn't really how it should have been exactly, and I just decided to redo it. That took me a while too. I was pretty bummed that I had to redo it. I also forgot to, I was doing it on stream, and this wasn't done on stream. But I had forgotten that I had included face cam, and usually on speed builds you don't really want to include face cam, just because like it'll take like what I'm doing right now is a voiceover. If I was doing face cam, I couldn't do a speed build because it would speed up my audio, or if I were to detach the audio, then it wouldn't, like, the words that I'm saying right now wouldn't match up with the movements of my mouth on the face cam. And I don't think that there's a way that I can remove face cam in post. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I mean, I use Filmora as a video editor. And I'm fairly certain there isn't a way that you can use face cam. See, now I'm adding in more of those, like, column things here. Um, yeah, and so we started adding in some windows, trying to figure out where I want the windows to be. This is where it gets less like Hogwarts and more just like I'm just figuring out what looks good. And originally I was going to have the stairs going there, down from the cliff, like down the side, but then I realized that the stairs were actually coming out to that first like open archway on the outer fence. And you see me like switching up the door here and stuff. I choose one for vampires because it seems very like medievally, and I decided that it was probably more in tune with the style than the Realm of Magic ones, although I was pretty tempted to use some of those, but they don't really have many like I think I needed like a double door, maybe I needed a triple one, I don't remember. And I ended up changing that archway that I just put in too because I didn't like it as much. But that's going into the courtyard. You'll see me add some more stuff to the courtyard later to kind of fancy it up a bit. And there's two sort of main courtyards, and there might honestly be another one that got cut off with the northern towers, but yeah, we won't talk about that. That's sad. And you see me trying to like make a cool pattern with the windows here, but we're gonna end up changing that in a bit. Yeah, we're just trying a few things. Yeah, I don't know. We're just trying to make it look good. Hey, listen. So it's just like the outer shell of Hogwarts, really. The inside, I mean, the inside's going to be as close to Hogwarts as I can make it, obviously. And especially like the super famous rooms, like the potions room. I still need to add that in actually. I need to redo the basement now that I've raised it up. But we'll do that in the second part when we're furnishing everything. We'll just kind of like add it in and furnish it at the same time. And then the kitchens are underneath the Great Hall, where they have like all the feasts and stuff. And fun fact about the Great Hall, those were actually like real prepared food dishes. But because the lights and stuff were so hot on set, all the food spoiled so fast that they couldn't really eat much of it. And the director wanted that in the movie too. He had requested that all of the food be real food so that they could feel free to like eat and nom on it as much as they wanted to. I don't know. I think that's kind of a fun fact. Let's see. While filming Prisoner of Azkaban, the pockets of Tom Felton's Hogwarts robes were sewn shut to stop him from sneaking food on set. That is so on brand. That's really funny. When Fred and George Weasley bewitched snowballs to hit Professor Quirrell's turban, they were unwittingly hitting Voldemort in the face. Like, can you imagine if they knew? I mean, they probably still would have done it because they're mischief makers and they're crazy. And I love Fred and George so much. They're so near and dear to my heart. Sirius Black and Fred Weasley, two tricksters from different generations, both died laughing. That's so sad. I don't want to think about Fred's death. He's so special. Anyway, in Prisoner of Azkaban, Trelawney's refuses to sit at a table with 12 other characters because she would be the 13th, and the first one to get up after that would die. In the Order of the Phoenix, 13 members of the Order are sitting, and Sirius is the first to stand. Doo-doo-doo. I feel like we need like detective music there to be like, this. It's crazy. I mean, it fits so perfectly in the world though. Like it's so on brand. But man, I like Sirius too. She really killed off a whole lot of great characters, didn't she? I guess it would have been on brand for her to kill off Ron. I'm so glad she didn't though. Honestly, I probably would have been more okay with her killing off Ron though than killing off Fred. Fred is he's so funny. Why'd she kill off all the tricksters? Like, why didn't she kill off any of the serious people? I mean, I guess she did kill off Sirius. She killed off Sirius Black. Oh my gosh, I'm dying. I guess she did kill off one Sirius people. Shh, I'm awful. Anyway, it's fine, it's fine. Yeah, no. Bring it in, rein it in, Sammy. You can do it. Okay. Uh, Having written half of Goblet of Fire, Rowling realized she had created a giant hole in the plot, which she had to go back and fix, which is why the book is so long. I wonder what the giant hole was. I actually don't know. I have no idea what it's talking about. Plus, giant hole is like bold and in quotes, like we're supposed to know what it's talking about, but I have no idea. That one's kind of spooky. Spooky fact. Also, Halloween's coming up, guys, so this is a little bit on brand. Witches, castles, Hogwarts. I might be a Harry Potter Quidditch player. So there's that for Halloween. I'm trying to decide between that and a flapper. Kind of random, I know. I think here yeah, here's where the cut is. See how all of a sudden I'm raising it up? That took me like an hour because first I built like the entire basement, all of the potions room and the potions dungeon. I hadn't done the second level yet before I was like, I haven't raised this up yet. And then I tried raising it up with the basement already in, and it was like, nope, can't do that. So I deleted the basement and then had to go around hunting. See how that front tower on the front of the clock is gone? Yeah, it was that. So now we're just like putting in that foundation because you can like the stick foundation. What are those called? Stilts. Yeah, the stilt foundation because you can put the terrain tool underneath it, and that way it can be as like flush up against the build instead of like creating that weird like giant rift that happens otherwise. So we're doing that, and then we're raising up the terrain so that it looks more like it's on a cliff. Yay! And honestly, I kind of wish I would have made it a little bit higher. Um, but that's okay. It's fine the way it is. It looks like it's on a cliff. It's good enough. And then a little bit. Oh, you see me fixing the like all of the. Oh, yep. Here I'm like, there's actually space there. So I'm trying to figure out how to add in that space, and it says you can't add it because it's like not a room, so you can't like make that foundation in there. And we fix it eventually. Just takes us a bit. So we're adding in like we're trying to fix the cliff face, and we're trying to make it close to the original picture as possible. And there's like a ravine there in between, and you'll see me add in like the lake a little bit later. And it doesn't go completely around because not enough space. I wish we had more space, otherwise then I would have made it go completely around the castle, but we couldn't, so we did as best we could and we kind of disguised it. Um, More fun facts about Harry Potter. In Deathly Hallows, Harry notes that Ron and Hermione had fallen asleep holding hands. Hermione's Patronus is an otter, which sleep holding hands with other otters. Incidentally, Ron's Patronus is a Jack Russell Terrier known for chasing otters. See, that part is sort of like, are Jack Russell Terriers known for chasing otters? I mean, they were made to chase rodents. They were created to chase rodents out of burrows. That's why they're so small and energetic. But I don't think they were really meant to chase otters. That might be a bit of a stretch. But that's cute nonetheless. Definitely cute. Let's see. Rowling has admitted that Dementors are a physical depiction of her own debilitating experience with depression during her 20s. Yep, that sounds about right. The first 5 years Rowling spent on Harry Potter were spent determining rules about what her characters could and could not do. I mean, 5 years is a long time to spend on that. But as somebody who has attempted to make a book, and I plan on working on that more in the future, I can see it. I can definitely see it. See, here I'm trying to make the lake, and I'm just like, that was a big mess. And so I'm just like trying to go through and create the lake and make it look more lake-like, and I don't extend it over to the other side. I think I was planning on adding stairs onto the other side so that people could get up and down and go to the dueling area easier, which is not very Harry Potter-ish, but Sims 4 Realm of Magic-ish nonetheless. And I'm just trying to like disguise that this is like there and have the stilts going like into the rock instead of like, so that it looks more supported, you know? I wish we could have the stilts going into the water, but they can't do that unless it's like pre-built natural water on like the island of Solani, which is where these stilts are from. They're from the the Island Paradise pack, although I think they might have added it into base game now that I think about it. It's probably actually that, but they came around that time when Island Living was released. Anyway, yeah. So we're just adding in some rocks there to make it look a little bit more natural, and I think by the time we get done, that little pool there is almost entirely filled with rocks. And here I'm just like adding in a boat. Later on I change it. You see me changing things, going back and changing things a decent amount. Just because like it's not like, they wouldn't have like a steamboat like that at Harry Potter. They would have like a regular boat. So I go back and I give them one of the Island Living boats. One of the least like islandy looking, if that makes any sense. Because they do have canoes, actually. We see canoes in the movies and stuff. And so it's, I mean, it's like a wind canoe, but it's a canoe. Kind of fits. um, let's see. Daniel Radcliffe and Rupert Grint both admit to having a crush on Emma Watson in earlier films. I mean, they were kids. Makes sense. I mean, I feel like I had a crush on all the boys when I was a kid. It was just like, oh, you're a boy? Crush. And here I'm trying to fix that so that I can like bring up, there we go, bring up all the terrain underneath, and then I think we just end up changing that to the, instead of grass, to that. And here we do end up doing them one by one, but that's because like if you look in the movies, there's just like archways all the way around that. And it just makes the most sense to do it there. Here you saw me change the archway. There you go. And then we're trying to figure out, because there's like this one space, you'll see it like on the side of the cliff there where the foundation isn't the same. So we're just like, we're trying to fix that so that we can bring up all of the terrain so that it looks more natural. I'm just like clicking all around, like trying to figure it out. And we get it somehow. I don't know which one it was that was being the issue, but we figured it out. And here I'm just like trying to make sure all the terrain is like evenly up against all of the buildings because I think I'm planning on like doing the basement there, but then I get distracted with like fixing the rocks again because like it doesn't look good. And so I end up doing that instead, and then forgetting about making the potions classroom in the basement. So we're just gonna do that. We're just gonna do that later, during the second part when I start furnishing everything. And here I'm just doing a bit of landscaping, making the grounds look a little bit nicer. I'm bringing my sim up to try and make sure that she can go all the way up. And then all of the sages suddenly appear. I'm planning on changing the sages, fun fact, because you can actually edit them using cheats and stuff. And I'm going to film create a sim, which will probably be part 3. And then we're going to we are actually going to use this build too, after I'm done like doing everything for it. So once we're done with part 3 with turning all of the sages into Professor Dumbledore as the Untamed Wizard, Professor Snape as the Mischief Wizard, of course, and Professor McGonagall as the Practical Wizard, because I figured that made the most sense, we are going to actually do a Let's Play in Realm of Magic with my steampunk witch. I created a steampunk house, so we're just rolling with that theme, making steampunk witches. I started adding in lights here. I think it's really important to add in lights to a build. It really, like, brings up the wow factor, especially since, like, in Realm of Magic, I feel like it's night almost all the time. Like, it's just dark there constantly. So with all the lights, I think it really adds something to the appeal. Um, yeah. But I struggled with like figuring out who I really wanted to create for the Untamed Wizard for a long time. Like I was trying to pick between Dumbledore and Hagrid because Hagrid seems quite untamed and he's like in the wilderness, but he doesn't actually live in the castle. And you don't really see him do a whole lot of magic. Like he wouldn't set people on fire or zap them, which is like some of the untamed magic that you can do. Um, and, you know, he's just like a big lovable oaf. And I don't know, he doesn't seem as edgy as Untamed Wizards would be. So, like, Dumbledore seemed the closest out of all of the professors, I think. Because he just, like, I feel like he would actually set people on fire. Not like, I mean, bad people, but I feel like he would have that capability at least. Whereas, like, Hagrid, I don't think he would ever have that capability, you know? And here I'm just, like, trying to figure out with the fountains what I want to do. But I wanted to add some fountains into the courtyards to make them look prettier. That's all. And then I'm just going around fixing some windows that were kind of off and lights that were kind of off. Yeah. Oh, suddenly that boat's changed. I don't remember when I did that, but it's different now. That's the boat I chose. It's the least, like, tribal looking. Anyway, we've almost finished up here. We're coming to the end of the video. I'm just fixing up some more windows. You see me adding some more right there and then take it out again. Oh, and we're in the screenshots. Here we go. So here it is from the front, and then we take it around back in a little bit. In a second, you'll see, there it is, there it is. So there's the balcony and the owlery in the back, and then we're going to flip around back to the side to see the Great Hall. And we're coming to the end of the video, guys, so if you guys want to leave a like and a comment, subscribe, I'd really appreciate it. Anyway, I will see you guys soon.